What is going on? I'm Zedmon, and I'm joined here by someone you in the community might know, or you should know anyways. This is Rick from Boom Beach. How's it going, Rick?
Hey, dude! Like, it's a shame I can't see you. Like, your face is so like mystical, and like, I'd really like to be able to see you. Hopefully, one day I will be able to get to see your face. It
Well,
must be a special face.
it's that's one way to put it. Yes, I think my mom said that once.
But thank you for having me on, dude. Like, honestly, big
Yeah,
pleasure to be on your show.
it's a great opportunity, and thanks a lot. So, we're gonna talk about warships. So, let's talk about not warships as well.
However you feel, dude. Like, you can ask me anything you wish.
Awesome, because I feel like there's a little bit of the I want to say like hardcore boomers or like the old school boomers who are concerned that the existing game is going to be forgotten. And I'm wondering, do you have any sort of vision on your side of things about how Warships is going to affect the existing game? Or because I feels like we've been kind of stuck in this waiting for Warships for a while.
Yeah, okay, good question. So I think when I was first joining in November, warships had already been announced. So I'd come into like just warships mindsets and stuff like that. And obviously, this was a big task. It was a big mammoth task, to be fair, because the the size of this project to get to where the Boom team would like to get it to, and what the players are asking for, like Task Force versus Task Force, we needed to make something that would be stable enough to be able to do it. So Warships is everything is just Warships right now. But I had a discussion earlier today in regards to the main base and what we're going to do with it. And there are some things that we are considering and thinking of. So I don't think it's forgotten right now.
And so now, and as far as the crab thing, have you guys thought about people? There's been a bunch of talk about crab coming, and will the crabs be coming back in their exact form as last time, or will there be tweaks? Like they won't. I'm assuming they won't have the same levels, for example.
Good question. Okay, yeah, because I see a lot of I've seen a lot of videos where people are stating this. So it's a good job that you've brought this to our attention. The stages will be different. They won't be exactly the same as they were previously. The tribes will be different if we decide them to be different. So yeah, I think it's still going to feel fresh. It's just the theme around it that's going to maintain the same, but it's still going to be challenging. I think for the Mega Crab people that are really into Mega Crab, I think they're going to thoroughly enjoy it. And any issues that we had previously, that they've been resolved. So I remember, I don't know if it was one of your videos where there was a Mega Crab that had different stages for different people. That's been solved. I can verify that for you as well. So I think it's just going to be fun. Mega Crab is going back around. You'll be able to chase for them. Diamond trophies. I mean, I haven't even got a single diamond trophy yet. So I don't even know how long it's going to take for me to get legendary, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. And now on the same lines, do you guys have any roadmaps as far as like new crab layouts or new War Factory layouts or new Dr. T layouts, or is that all sort of back burner until after War Factory?
That's
warships. Too many wars.
Yeah, there's too many wars. At the current minute, it's just been, like I said earlier, it's warships on the mind, and we want to make it as good as possible for the players. So that's been our main focus at the minute. But we're always listening to the players. I'm constantly gathering feedback. So if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, then feel free to send them across. Like, we're always willing to jot them down.
You're not kidding about constantly. You're online all of the time. So
that's the point. That's the point, right?
So now, as far as warships goes, are you guys playtesting, or do you have a QA group in, or like I assume you're?
But it's been very interesting since we've had warships. I mean, we've gone through many iterations. Like, the gameplay has changed dramatically throughout. So we'd make something, we'd try it out. We didn't like something, we'd try it again. And I think we've got to this stage now where we're very happy with it. And playing it with the game team and actually the company was really interesting because lots of people had different kind of strategies. So that was really interesting. And to be fair, like us guys sitting at our computers trying to think of every single scenario that players are gonna use is impossible. So I suppose once we get it out there, that's where we're gonna really see what players do and how they're thinking, what strategies they come up with.
In the tech tree, you show how we can upgrade troops and we can upgrade abilities and stuff like that. In the main game, for example, like Azuka does, I think 538 DPS when fully upgraded. With so I'm wondering, in Warships, does a fully upgraded Zuka necessarily do 538, or can it do like a 2,000 or 100, or are you guys going to decide that based on the season, or like I'm wondering if
So,
that, if
yeah, to give you some context then. So basically every tech tree will have 5 upgrades, all right? So the way that we've done it is basically to make it simplistic as possible. If you've upgraded to max 5 of Zukas, that would be level 22 of Zukas. But we've just like divided them down into a small level. The first initial gameplay design that we had was that you'd upgrade it like 22 times, and it just didn't feel right. So we was like, okay, we'll bring that down, we'll put it into 5, so it just feels more fluid now than it did previously.
I think that's the same as like the critter cannons and stuff like that. Then I think where like HQ 8 or armory level 8, you get level 1, and then level 12 or something like that, you get level 2 sort of idea.
Yeah, that kind of idea.
Cool. Okay, so you're not going to be necessarily, so season 2, for example, isn't going to have like tanks do half as much damage. That's always going to be linked between your main island and warships.
So if you've maxed it out to 20 level 22 but upgraded to 5 in the tech tree,
Yep.
that's what it'll mean. It'll be exactly the same. At the current minute, there's no plan to change that.
Right.
Potentially in the future if people request it and stuff, but there's no change for it at the current
Cool.
moment.
I was just thinking of a way that you could balance warships but not affect the existing base, for example, something along those lines.
Oh yeah, well we'd come to that at some point, I suppose, if that kind of issue happened. But currently we have no idea. It's not out there yet, so we have
Cool.
to see, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Now, and have you guys announced the max number of engine rooms there's going to be on warships yet? I mean, in the videos we've seen 5. Is that going to be something that's announced, or is that more than 5 or less than 5? Or because you never know with you. What's that?
I think you guys will just play and find out yourself when you play.
I assume that the levels of smoke and flares and all those sort of things are linked as well, much like the troops.
It all does the same thing. The only thing that I can think of that's a little bit different is your heroes. In the fact that when you upgrade your heroes, the abilities themselves will be upgraded as well at the same time. So that's the only thing that like is different compared to the rest.
So for example, on warships, level 2 brick would have level 2 battle orders and level 2 cluster grenade, for example, automatically.
I can't think if it'll be level 2 or it'll be higher or lower.
Right.
I don't know, but they've balanced it out so that when you upgrade, it will upgrade it with it to a certain level. But I off the top of my head, I don't know that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That way, it removes one decision. You don't have to decide. Oh, I'm gonna spend one of my. What are those? What are those? Have you guys announced what those things are called? The anchors or whatever that currency is called yet?
Okay, well I'll tell you. So yeah, they're upgrade tokens and unlock tokens. So the hint is in the name. So if you've got unlock tokens, you'll be unlocking the nodes inside the tech tree, and if you've got upgrade tokens, you'll be upgrading them. So it just made it easier for people to understand.
And so you can't use an upgrade token to unlock, and you can't use an unlock to upgrade, basically. So
Yeah, exactly.
cool. And as far as the number of attacks that give rewards or what has that been
You'll be going through your season and collecting stars, and every 3 stars that you get, you'll be able to claim a chest. So inside them chests, you'll get the resources, the resources for the warship and resources for your base. There will be a maximum amount that you can claim over a time, which is 4. And then there'll be a cooldown time. It means that you can continue playing, but we needed to limit the amount of resources being given out, obviously, just to balance the game.
Yeah, it makes sense. Otherwise, people who just play 24 hours a day would have unlimited resources. I would just, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no subscriptions specifically for warships. Like, there's the instant training, which will cross over, but otherwise, no subscriptions and nothing planned at this point.
No, the whole idea for Warships was to make just meaningful, fun content. It really was. And the only thing that's going to give you some convenience is instant training.
Right.
The new reserve system, troop reserve system, is good because players don't need to tap them to start building their reserves back up. It will automatically do this over time for them. So if they come off the game, it's automatically getting some more reserves for your Zookas, for example. So it just makes that more of a convenience if you have instant training, because you'll never have to wait and you can always use the troops that you have unlocked. So that's the only thing that we have. And yeah, the rest of it is just for fun. We want people to be battling and playing, this new feature.
With these reserve troops, and I'm thinking, like, for example, I play Warships game number 1, and I use Heavy Zuka, and I tie. Are there ties in Warships?
As in, like, tiebreakers?
No, like, say, like, yeah, you and I both get 2 engine rooms or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are tiebreakers, and do we know what that is yet?
The tiebreakers has been defined. So if I remember off the top of my head, so it's based on the percentage of the defense, like the amount of damage that you do, right? If that becomes the same, then time is taken into consideration. So who done it faster? And then if that fails, then it will become a draw. But we're trying to make sure that somebody does win each time. So basically how it's going to work, to give you some understanding, is that you'll choose your loadout, your troops and stuff, you'll search for a person, then you'll get to see their ship, their warship, and you'll be like, okay, I want to change over these troops because I can see that this tactic's not going to work with this, so I'll change over my troops. And you've also got 1 minute to just scout. This time is not taken into consideration, so you can use a minute just to like figure out what strategy you want to use. And then as soon as you start the attack, that's when the timer is taken into consideration. So it's all about taking out the engine rooms if you can, or do as much destruction as you can, and in the fastest way that you can, to ensure that you get that victory.
So now, my thinking is that for someone who doesn't have instant training, they would, for example, if I use Heavy Zuka on attack number 1 and my reserves for Heavies and Zukas are now empty because I lost them all and failed or whatever, I could then switch to Tank and Medic and then switch to Grenadiers on my 3rd attack or something along those lines and keep playing while my other troops reload. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, so as long as you've got, as long as you've unlocked that specific troop in the tech tree, then yeah, you can continue playing and just swapping around. But it just means that if the Zookas are all taken, you've got to wait until they start building up their reserve system again to place them in the landing craft.
Right, that to me sounds very interesting, because it means that right now people, for example, will use one troop to clear their entire map, whereas with this, you'll use tanks for attack number 1, and then you'll switch to Zookas, and then as you're using Zookas, your tanks are reloading, so you're actually creating your own way to keep playing without having to wait for anything, which sounds interesting.
Totally. And all we see is, people are using Heavy Zookas with smoke or something. So it's like, at least it's giving this new variety to actually find out who the best Boom Beach player is, because you've got to make decisions and learn how to use each of these tools, if you want to call them, because they're all different nodes, gunboat abilities. So you've got to utilize these the best way that you can. I'm thoroughly excited for this. I can't wait for it to come out and see what players do with it.
Now, as far as, not necessarily for the first season, but for the second or third season, is there any thought as far as one upgrade token doing, say, for example, 2 upgrades to a tank as opposed to 1 upgrade to a Zuka or something like that, to try and steer people in certain directions or anything like that?
I don't think we've come to that. We're fully dedicated to get season 1 out. Right. I don't think we've come into them. But
I'm just because the one thing that hasn't really happened in Boom Beach, well, I mean, it happens once in a while with the tribes, but you see like no one attack your base with warriors for like 3 weeks straight, for example, and then the warrior like speed serum comes out and everyone uses warriors. And I'm just wondering how the seasons could potentially affect balancing of getting people to try different troops or use different metas or just the way that other games have been balanced to. But
the fact that there's more than one engine room, I think some of the old strategies are not going to work because you'll be able to place your engine rooms where you want. You're going to have certain defenses around certain ones. I think some of the strategies are not going to work. So I think it's going to be really interesting once it's out there to see what people do.
How many? So with the bigger boats, are there 3 beaches on some of them, or how many beaches? How many landing areas do warships have as a general rule?
So every time you upgrade your warship, there'll be another beach added.
Okay.
I don't know how many there is a maximum. I believe it's 3 off the top of my head. I haven't reached the end of the season, so I haven't seen it all. But from what I believe there's 3 beaches that people can go on. You can't.
Said that you will have some upgrade tokens or unlock tokens when you start season 2 from where you place in season 1. Correct?
Yeah.
So now,
yes.
if we're in, say, season 4 and I've never played the game before and I want to get to the leaderboards, how many seasons will it take me to do that? As a brand new player coming out of the blue, Nick at night decides he wants to come back to the game.
Season, I think, is going to be very difficult for anybody to get to the last part of it. And also, each grid, there'll be a certain amount of choices that you need to make, and you'll need a certain HQ level to be able to unlock another section of the tech tree. So it kind of reinforces that you need to think about upgrading your headquarters on your main base to get to the end of it. It really depends on person to person. I don't think the first season you play, you're going to make it up there, but potentially the second season, I think we'll see people right up the tech tree and really high up in the leaderboards.
And I think that actually answered a question that I hadn't thought of, but I had written down weeks ago, and that is the fact that you, as a low-level player, have to upgrade your main base kind of puts an emphasis on Supercell to keep that main base upgraded and to keep that main base exciting, because otherwise...
Yeah, of course. No, we didn't want people to forget about the amazing game that we already have. Boom Beach is an amazing game. I love the game. So the main base is something that I'm going to constantly be upgrading. I'm level 47, by the way. So we like the main base. We like people playing in their own task forces and doing operations and stuff. So we didn't want this to be taken away. We just wanted to add more gameplay.
Basically, everything that you've said so far is that Warships is not a separate game, and it is tied in and does require the main base. So the healthier and happier and more exciting you can make the main base, the healthier and happier Warships will be, which is fantastic.
Yeah, totally. And
task force versus task force is a very broad term, because task force can be anywhere from 5 to 50 people. Are you thinking of something more like duos to start and then potentially, or?
I don't know. At this current minute, our game designer is going to be, he's writing down ideas and how it's going to plan out and stuff. Obviously, like Warships, things change and ideas come into play, and the feedback we get from players and stuff like that. So it's just it'll be a balancing act all throughout the process. But it's something that we know that this will allow us to do, and I think it's going to be amazing once we get it out.
Right. Well, that's what I almost forgot. Now, you've done an Ask Me Anything for Warships. I'm wondering if now we were promised an Ask Me Anything for Boom Beach, questions that the community has, like how does Battle Order 6 math work, and why do certain behaviors happen in the game, and how does matchmaking, geeky technical questions that we've never really had an opportunity to ask that for probably a year or two or even longer now. I'm wondering if you'll be willing to do a Boom Beach Ask Me Anything at some point, or further Ask Me Anythings going forward.
I will never put on another AMA. The questions that people are asking were very good. I expected some to be asked, but actually everybody was really great, and we got some good answers there. So I don't see why we can't do it again in the future. It is about timing. I mean, that AMA was two days of my life of doing nothing else but the AMA and going around asking questions, bringing it back, writing them out, and answering the questions. But if we have time, then I don't mind it. It gets you guys answers, and we get feedback from it as well. It's great.
Yeah, I was amazed by the AMA because every time there was a dev video in the past, people would comment on haircuts and socks and ask the stupidest questions possible. But the Warships AMA was like all on topic, and you weren't asked the questions. Yeah, I was mind blown, to be honest.
Yeah, the whole point is the community, and you guys, you boom tubers have done a fantastic job. I mean, you guys are a part of the heart and soul of Boom Beach. Like, it's the team watch your videos. I put you guys on the big screen every couple of days. Like, if I see a video I whack it on the big screen so we can all watch it and stuff. So like we really do appreciate what you guys do, and the rest of the community. Like, the feedback that we get is just great. It really does make us think about, okay, corner cases like that. For example, people asking for intel in Warships was just like, it's a no-brainer. None of us really thought of it, and it was like, yeah, let's do it. So the community do help us do that. So I'm hoping with...
Well, I think I don't have anything else as far as Warships related. Do you? I guess the only thing I can think of is, do you guys have any sort of... Have you guys nailed down a date? Like, has it been uploaded to Apple and approved by Google and all that sort of stuff? Or can we circle a date on our calendars?
Well, I have actually stated it in the game, but it seems that nobody's realized. So there's a little Easter egg inside the game, and hopefully you guys could go and try and figure out what that is.
So like the turtles or the sharks, or do I have to?
I'm not going to tell you, dude. You got to go and invest.
Well, I'm sure there's some people who will find this out very, very quickly. So if you're watching this video, please do comment below, tag me on Discord, on Twitter, whatever it might be, and let's find this Easter egg. Please don't make us tap on eggs 400 times.
I would say that. Right, guys. Well, listen, honestly, dude, thank you so much for spending some time with me, asking some questions. There were some really good questions there. I really hope that we can meet up at some point one day in the future. I really do hope so. And everybody here, like, subscribe, man. Subscribe to him. This guy's great.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming in, Rick. That was fantastic. Sorry, we had some video issues in there and some cutouts and stuff, but I think it went fairly all right. A little bit awkward, but let's just say goodbye. Again, Rick, thank you very much for coming in. Greatly appreciate it.
Take it easy. Bye.
My apologies for the video and audio quality there a little bit. My internet here in France is not terribly great. I felt a little bit embarrassed as far as Rick clipping in and out, but otherwise, I think we got some good answers. We got an AMA committed to. We got a little bit of information about warships and task force versus task force, and an Easter egg. So if you know where that Easter egg is, or you find it, please do comment on my video below, or tag me on Twitter, Discord, whatever medium you want. And that's it. That's all. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, a little bit awkward with no face cam for me. Obviously, I tried to put Rick on screen when he was talking just to try and make it a little bit easier to figure out who was who. But if you have any suggestions for future videos, future interviews, stuff like that, please do let me know. Otherwise, I shall talk to you soon. As always, thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmot. Peace.